War Eagle Auburn family, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we sit down, we get together, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. I'm sure we'll have a lot of replay people tonight, since it's a little bit of an off-the-cuff live stream because of some breaking news happening on this Friday evening, the 28th of January. On this live stream, we just got the announcement from the horse's mouth from Allen Greene himself with Bruce Pearl in tow that they have locked Bruce Pearl down, supposedly for life. And I'm only putting supposedly because we actually haven't seen the details yet, but that is per Allen Greene with Bruce Pearl in a video with him on social media. On Twitter is where I saw it. They have locked Bruce down at least for the longest period possible, if not life. And that is what we're talking about. That is what we're reacting to. I want to hear your thoughts on that tonight. Couple things that you can do for me as we get started on the live stream. Make sure if you haven't, do smash that like button if you enjoy this type of content. It does help the stream out. And right now in the chat, post where you're watching from with a War Eagle, City, State, International, all that good stuff. Even if you're on the replay, we want to know who's here from the Auburn family and maybe who else is here who's just some other fan who wants to react to the news of Bruce Pearl being locked down. If we've got any sad Louisville fans out there, I'd love to hear from y'all because the thought that y'all actually had a shot at him, nah, that wasn't going to happen. Anyway, so do all those things for me, and then we'll hear from who this stream is brought to you by, one of our things, a little bit later on in the stream. Wow, folks. I mean, goodness. Let me give you a little bit of timeline before I start looking at some of y'all's comments. This is reaction show. I want to share a little bit of my reaction, but y'all's as well. I have been kind of following through the sources and all this kind of stuff when this thing was going to go down. And yet again, I doubted how quickly this thing was going to unfold. I was thinking this would be kind of wrapped up, concluded over this weekend, and we get a Monday announcement. Monday's a big news cycle day, not just for sports, not just for Auburn, but just in general. That seemed like the perfect time to announce Bruce Pearl's locked up. Well, they couldn't even wait for the excitement because they knew what was going to happen tomorrow in the Big 12 SEC Challenge with Bruce going into that game and how loud that people are going to be cheering with him there. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. They couldn't wait. They wanted to get the news out tonight. I would imagine the gymnastics meet that's going on, I think right now, maybe it starts in a few minutes, I can't remember, is probably pumping with the news as well. Lots of celebrating going all around. So those are just my initial thoughts, is that this happened a lot quicker than even I believed it would. But people continue to tell me, who are in the know about these things, that I need to stop doubting and just start listening to them. Legendario, War Eagle from Dallas, Texas. Kyle, this is really good. Yes, I would say that's putting it lightly. We got a lot of Bruces being thrown in here. A lot of our channel members are checking in. Good to see all of you guys. Louisiana can kick bricks. I think you meant Louisville, but yes, there you go. You corrected yourself a little bit. Tupelo, Mississippi, checking in. Wow. Lots of people here. South Carolina. Ryan says that Allen was quick. I would imagine that Allen Greene, and I hope when I say this, it doesn't come off as like a selfish thing, for like him being selfish, but you really want to have that on your resume, that you lock down a life contract for someone that is worthy of it. That's a big thing for an athletic director to have on their resume, to show that I'm willing to make the deals that need to be made. So for himself personally, this is a great thing for Allen Greene, and I couldn't be happier about it, because that's what we signed him to do, right? Take care of the athletic program. And boy, did he take care of the men's basketball program. Really, really good. Well, you know how it goes. They didn't really want him. Well, you know, that's, everyone's going to say that. Fire hydrant capital of the world, Cohen. Interesting. Rise Life checking in. James Barnett. Good to see all of you guys here already. Bruce for the win. Isn't it incredible, guys? Celebrate. Well worth it. So now here's the question. Now that I've kind of at least caught up a little bit in chat. We don't know the details of this deal yet. I would imagine that will start trickling out even now. I will imagine that will start trickling out even, I don't know, probably tomorrow sometime. But we probably, I would imagine, wouldn't get we wouldn't get official numbers and stuff until probably Monday. I'm probably wrong on that again. But now is where the digging begins for all the numbers, because that's what everybody wants to know. What did we sign, or what did we have to do? What deals did we have to make with Coach Bruce Pearl to get him to stay for the rest of his career at Auburn? And that's what's being tossed around now. Allen Greene, in his post, said locked in for life. Now, if you notice in the video, if you noticed when Bruce acknowledged that, he said, I'm going to be around here for a long, long time. So that always, when I hear someone like kind of use wording like that, always worries me that there's that little room for error. But, you know, I think that's just the Auburn fan in me that's kind of worrying about that. And I just need to remind myself, don't worry about those things right now. Focus on the good stuff. And the good stuff is that he is locked down for life here. Carrie, I do not live in Auburn. I live outside of Auburn. I don't typically reveal exactly where I live. It's in Georgia. That's where you're wondering, but yes. Our coach got injured. The game doesn't count. Let's see here. Never heard of a lifetime contract. Well, you know, this is a unique situation from what I understand, John. This is not a lifetime contract in the sense that he is a young coach that is, and here's the interesting thing. Until we know the full details of it, we don't even know, like, it could just be Bruce has said, this is when I'm going to retire. This is what I need the numbers until when, and this is how I need the numbers to break down. So in essence, it is a lifetime contract. We don't know that. We got to wait for the details. We do know, as Allen said, that he's locked in for life. But what I was saying by that, you know, when someone hears lifetime contract, when it's a much younger coach, that's a big, even bigger deal, because that's saying we are invested this guy forever. I mean, no offense to Bruce, but he is up there in years. And I would imagine that, you know, outside of a decade or so, there's probably the amount of time that he wants to still be coaching. What I'm interested to know is what went into this deal. What actually, you know, went into making the decision for him, what made it okay for Bruce to say, I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life. I think there's a lot of good things for Bruce to stay, but also a lot of good things for Auburn. Lockdown coverage. Good to see you guys. I will check those emails. No worries on that. I'll check it a little bit later after the stream. But thanks for stopping by. Scotty says $7+ million. That could put Bruce Pearl top 5 highest paid coaches of all time. We have the Nick Saban of basketball. I don't know how I feel about that. That makes me feel a little bit weird about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. He's 61. I'm whiffing tonight. So 61, 62. He's up there in years is the main thing that you need to know. So a lifetime contract for him is probably somewhere in the range of a decade. I'm asking the bigger questions, as I've already kind of said. What went into this? We know there's a board meeting coming up very soon for the athletic department, and what was on the table was doing some additions / renovations to make a separate practice gym for basketball purposes, because they have to share that with volleyball and other things that have to take place there. So that was, I think, on the docket already. I'm sure that was secured. I'm sure extension / raises for his staff was secured. And I wouldn't be shocked if there was much more even secured than that. Maybe a role for Bruce when he's done at Auburn as a head coach. I don't know. I'm just throwing speculation out there, throwing stuff into the wind and seeing what happens. James says it's actually an 8-year contract. So, James, are you seeing this online? Because, like I've said, I've been live. I haven't been able to check in on the details that are fluctuating out. If you've seen details, let me know. Interested to hear the details come out. I'm thinking 6 to 7 mil a year salary, comparing to Louisville's coaches at 4.5. You're probably not far off. Carrie, I get you like football, man, but we are focused on basketball right now, because this is big news. They get to lock down a coach like this, who has literally taken this program that was garbage, literal garbage, and has made it the envy of college basketball. The Blue Bloods, as much as they won't admit it, have made it the envy of college basketball. He's going to be the next football coach. Listen, after this tumultuous offseason, you just never know, right? I doubt that. I don't think we're going to get a Suge Jordan repeat, but you just never know, I guess. Maybe Pearl Jr. takes daddy's mantle, is in the contract. Well, here's the problem with that. And I've seen this, I've discussed this with people, and I've seen that tossed around a lot, Corey. You've also got another great guy who deserves a shot as a head coach too, and that's Wes Flanagan. Both are 1-0 as head coaches at Auburn during their 1 year interim periods. Both, rose to the occasion. Not that it was that difficult with a team like them, or like the team that we have now, but that's tough, and I would hope that if that type of situation was addressed for Coach Pearl, that Wes was privy to it and is okay with it, and he may be, or vice versa. I don't know how that's going to all fold out, but I wouldn't be shocked if there is a succession plan planned for this, because you don't need to waste what has been built by Bruce Pearl and the foundation laid. He's worked too hard for his legacy, but moreover Auburn's future, to let this go to waste. So I think that this was even more so not just locking down Bruce Pearl, but locking down what he has done for this basketball program for a long time. Kerry, in case you don't know, because I know some people still don't know, Allen Greene is our athletic director. He is the one who is in charge of all sports, so he makes decisions. Obviously, he has people he has to go through as well, but he's the boss of all the coaches, and so he makes all of these decisions there. Trying to decide between the orange or white jersey to wear for the national championship. Let's see here. Let me back down here. The news is great for recruiting. Prospects know he's going to be around for a while and will get to play for him. And the great thing about that, Kevin, by the way, good to see you again. I haven't seen you lately, and I know you're busy. I just wanted to make sure you knew him. Appreciate you being here. But not just for him, knowing he's going to be around, because he knows the full details of that, and he can share that to the recruits and say, look, here's what I am locked in for. Here's our plans for the future. You don't want to miss out. Even if we get 5 years down the road and heaven forbid something go wrong, there's a plan for the future, which is absolutely, it's just, you guys have been here, especially those of you who've been part of this channel for a long time, know that I am a humongous fan of stability, that it is essential to the lifeblood of any program. And this, to me, this is like my dream come true. And it really has nothing to do with Bruce, other than the fact that he does a great job, but just the fact that the team, the program, is going to have a surety outside of what we're not guaranteed in life, death and taxes and all that kind of stuff, what's going to happen for the future. This is just a dream come true for me. The new basketball facility probably help as well. I think all of it's going to help. It's all going to help thus far. Do you think we're going to get a lot more recruits for next year in basketball? Well, so here's the thing you got to think about, Rise Life. And I don't know, I may be preaching to the choir here, but I don't know how much you know about recruiting basketball. There's only so many spaces in basketball, because it depends on who you bring back next year, who leaves, all that kind of. It's the same thing, just smaller proportions for basketball. So Jabari's gone. Maybe Walker's gone. You don't have a senior on this team. Jalen's probably coming back. I think he's the only. Oh, and Allen Flanagan is a junior as well. He might go if he gets a little bit better of a steamroll in here towards the end of the season. So there's not a lot of room, but in terms of people wanting to be here, yes. So whereas you can probably take a few extra like diamonds in the rough and hope they turn out in basketball or football, you don't have as much wiggle room in basketball. Do I think I can be a basketball coach? Well, I was for a rec league. So yes, I've done it, and I could be, but not to that level. Do I think that Allen Wes Flanagan is going to get an extension? I would bet that was part of the process. I have been told that one of the frustrations that Bruce has had during his time here is that he's not been able to get the money that he wanted for his assistants. partially because we've been paying him so much, but now it's kind of forced our hand, right? So yes, I would expect a pay raise for Wes. I would expect a pay raise for his son, Stephen Pearl, for Chad Pruitt, director of basketball operations. I would expect a lot of things, Um, Unlike football, we can be good for more than a year at a time. Well, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges, but I see your point, and I understand why you feel that way right now. Maybe Auburn's future is a floating basketball coliseum. Well, I highly doubt we will invest in much more than extra practice facility outside of that. But the sky's the limit, I guess, is kind of what you're saying there. You never know. Bruce Pearl has done what? If Bruce Pearl can take a team that and a coach that a team who had a coach who convinced y'all that we couldn't, not y'all. Let me start that over. If Bruce can take a program that was mired with a coach who was convinced we couldn't win because we wore Under Armour and turn them into this, anything's possible. Linda, good to see you. Thanks for being here. My mood after hearing this news is the same mood Katie Johnson gets when he makes a shot. Very good. Linda, I expect, like we were just saying, for everybody to get a raise, get some security. I think, and here's the thing. It's going to be a lot of money, I'm sure. But when that money is well spent, and Bruce has demonstrated that money, while still a risk, is well worth it, right? Because not only has he taken the garbage of the SEC in basketball, which was Auburn at one point, and made it the shining gem of the SEC at this point. He's done it twice, because we went to the Final Four, had kind of a dip. That last year, the 2019 year was cut short. 2020 was kind of down, and he rose back up to this. So what he's shown is even when you dip, the foundation, we've talked about a lot of this, trying to find this for football, is so high, it doesn't matter because you don't fall as far. He has built something that is sustainable for quite some time. Our football stadium is going to transform into a basketball court. You joke. I wouldn't put it past them. Do I think that they could, if they were to put a basketball court in the middle of Jordan-Hare, put some seats into the ground there for additional seating, and still, could they fill up the entire Jordan-Hare Stadium? Probably not, but they could probably fill the entire lower bowl. You'd have a terrible view of what's going on at some points, but you can dang sure bet people would buy tickets for it. Francis, great point. Is Jungle City part of the deal? So what Francis is referring to, and Bruce has already addressed this himself, talked about it on previous live streams, he wants to take care of the students. I don't know that that's included, because even Bruce said he thought he could get some donors, boosters, to take care of that. I would bet that he's already had those discussions. There's already been one, too many people step up to the plate for that, and that's already being taken care of. I would doubt, and that's just me, I have no information otherwise. Maybe it was a part of the deal. I have a feeling that is taken care of, but just in a separate format than this contract extension, contract solidification process. Because, there's enough going to be in this, whether it's the practice facility, overall additions, investment into facilities for the basketball teams. And don't lose sight of this. This was not done just for the men's basketball team. This was done for the women's basketball team. We're not going to shy away from the fact that, yes, men's basketball is way more popular than women's basketball at Auburn. There was a time when it was flipped, and I was there for it. But it's still for them, and Bruce is still continually thinking, obviously for his program, but for the bigger picture at Auburn. So that's part of this as well. When is the recruiting cycle for basketball, Kyle? That's a great question, Corey. I've had the hardest time, and you know me, Corey, you've been here long enough to know that I don't get too into recruiting. I get just enough. I used to be into it. But I can never lock down exactly when the cycle end or began. It's, to me, recruiting never ends. But that's a great question. I need to look into that more. Maybe somebody knows here. People make jokes like calling Auburn basketball the Pearlville. Hey, listen, we called it Pearlville last week, and about this time, well, in a couple of hours, really, I would have been this time last week, been out there checking out Pearlville in the freezing cold, and what a time to be an Auburn an Auburn fan. It is absolutely incredible. The next arena going to be named Pearl Smith Arena. Don't need a new one, I don't think, Cohen, but I could be wrong, obviously. Will Pearl, you bring up an interesting point. Is that part of, there's no telling what was additionally put into this. Pearl doesn't strike me as a guy who wants to make a deal to have his name on something. Does he want to strike a deal for the future of the program and for Auburn and others? Yes. But usually those type of things come up from someone else putting that forward, such as this past weekend for women's basketball coach Joe Champy. That wasn't a deal for him, but they finally hung a banner up for him in the arena because he deserved it. Took the first women's basketball team for Auburn to the Final Four. So that's very much deserved. So I don't know that that's going to be included in that, but I wouldn't be surprised if one day it does happen in some format. You might see some version of, I don't know if I hate to say because I love Coach Sonny Smith so much, but you could see Pearl Arena, or you could see Pearl Court or something like that somewhere down the line. Let's wait and see what he does, and then we'll talk about that. Do we need more seats in the arena? It doesn't look like room was built for it, though. No. This was built to fill it up. They took the model of Duke, where Duke has had this old building, and they're not going to change because they know they can fill it up consistently and get better prices out of it, as opposed to the slow parts of your program and, not be able to fill them up and it looked completely empty like Beard Eves felt at times. And I remember those times. So I don't think that they're going to be adding seats. Now, I will tell you, when I was there for the Kentucky game this weekend, that the some of the drink rails were taken out, at least one section, and some extra seats put in their place. So those have already been addressed. You could tell because the way they had bolted them in was kind of freshly done. They've already anticipated that. I'm just curious why they didn't use the old basketball coliseum for the girls volleyball and the women's basketball team to practice in. Well, Scotty, because to be frank, there's this whole Title IX situation where one can't be given something really better than the other kind of thing. That's and I agree with that to some. It's the tightrope walking scenario there that we're not even going to go down. But the Coliseum, as much as I love it, because I love nostalgia, old things, I hope I get to go back in it one more time before they tear it down. I'm sure that there are plans far off in the future to get rid of that, or to do something different with it. So I don't know that is a good long-term solution for them. Let's see here. We need a 20-foot statue of Pearl outside the arena. Well, we just got Charles. I would imagine Sonny's coming one day, and then who knows who else. But you just never know, right? The women's basketball coach is Coach Johnny Harris. She just defeated number 4 Tennessee last night. Huge win for her. Let's see here. Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum was bigger. Yes, it was. The basketball Coliseum is where I chill at before the football game. Oh, Corey, do you go in there a lot? I know we can go in there, but I just don't have a lot of reasons to go in there these days. If that answers kind of what my thinking on that whole thing. WT Gardner, Bruce Pearl for life is the best news I've heard all year. War Eagle. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So, like I said, this is just mainly a reaction show. A kind of taking it in at the moment. Details are going to come in, and we will probably do a video maybe analyzing that contract once those details come out. But right now, I just wanted to kind of focus on the initial thoughts, impressions of it. Like I said, this was very surprising for me that it happened this quickly. I expected it maybe coming up a little bit in Monday, but not on a Friday night. Auburn's been dropping news, whether it's sports related or not, on Fridays like consistently lately, and I got to start learning. Be ready on Friday afternoons, Friday evenings. Carrie, in case you don't know, Sonny Smith is probably at this point our best former head coach, and I say best former. Cliff Ellis is one that's probably good too. You could throw probably Shug Jordan in there too. You can see he was just because it's Shug, but that's who that is. He is now the radio commentator with Andy Bertram for the basketball games. Stan's checking in. I'm in Columbus visiting my mom, and I actually reared up a little bit when I heard the news. Isn't it incredible? I just love that Allen Greene posted the video with Bruce there, because it was enough to see Allen Greene officially like, here's my face. You can't mistake my words. I'm right here. This is who this is. All right, this is what is going on. And then all of a sudden, Bruce Pearl's in the picture. So I'd imagine they either did it at Allen's home or at Bruce's home. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a picture of the actual signing. That would be really cool to see, like the signing of the accord or something like that. A small adjacent joy is that all the Alabama fans will have to be upset that their basketball daddy is staying put. It's a beautiful sight, isn't it? It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight. It was an excellent move by Allen Greene. And we got here a little late, Stan, but we were talking about how this is a huge win for him, not just for his time at Auburn, but for his resume. Because I don't think that Allen will stay here forever, but he'll definitely be able to look back on his resume and point to wherever he wants to end up and say, I've signed guys to lifetime contracts. I'm willing to sign people when they've earned it. And here's who's here I got to stay at Auburn. So if anything else, Allen Greene has secured his place in athletic director history in a good way by doing this. He absolutely has. All right, y'all keep the comments and questions coming in. Not going away just yet, but just want to give you a little bit of a reminder. As always, want to have someone who this stream is brought to you by, and as it's been the case lately, it's our Booster Club. E2C Network Booster Club at patreon.com/E2C Network. The link's in the description. Several of you have been here, like Corey. Who else popped in here? Linda, Cohen, so many other people that I'm sure I'm blanking on in the stream already. Are part of the Booster Club over there. All it takes is you just sign up for $1 a month to help support our content here. We are primarily listener supported and would like to keep that way as much as possible. And that's one of the ways that you can do it. Check out that link in the description. Let's see here. Let me back up, see what's going on. Green video was GOAT level. Stan's tearing up on us over that. I didn't tear up, but I really said, holy crap, this is actually happening. I'm glad Auburn is keeping a good thing. I'm hoping Bruce will stick around, even if we have to push him out of the court with a wheelchair. So one of the things that I'm sure there's probably a little protection for Auburn built into this in the terms of a buyout clause that is extremely high. So if anybody, and I mean anybody, wants him, they're going to have to pony Auburn some cash. Really, really good. Francis, looks like he was doing the research for us. There are 4 periods in men's basketball: contact, evaluation, dead period, and quiet period. The dates change each year when they're while they are all around the same times each year. So I think we were actually looking for more specific dates, but I know you said they change. So maybe a good thing, if you have time before we get off here, is to say the dates that they are this year, because that's usually the case for most recruiting cycle things. Even in football, it's a little different, but still kind of the same. Cohen, thanks for dropping in here and hanging out with us. We'll be on here for just a few more minutes. Let's not forget the much maligned Jay Jacobs had the guts to bring Pearl to Auburn in the first place. He will always be in my heart for resurrecting Auburn basketball. Yes. So here's the great thing And so what is a great lesson of? Just remember how you speak about people sometimes and how you treat them, and just treat them with respect, because you never know what they do now may affect you down the road. Because if Jay Jacobs doesn't take a chance on a guy like Bruce Pearl, Allen Greene doesn't have the opportunity to do this. And he doesn't care about, recognition for that now. He got his recognition when he signed him. I remember the hype when he got here. But we need to also remember that Jay Jacobs did have a hand in all that. Glad you could check in here. Appreciate that. As with the NCAA, all things, it is complicated. So you never, well, I know you're referring to recruiting, but yes. Carrie, we do not have the equipment to call in and talk tonight. That'll be another night, usually on our Wednesday night show. If my headphones are on, that usually means someone can call in, but some nights it's for the Booster Club members. All right. Final thoughts, impressions, stuff about Bruce Pearl getting signed. Like I said, I want to come back with another video later, probably an edited one, where you can watch at your leisure about the contract details when they start coming out. In fact, the funny thing is, I was talking to the people I normally talk to for information, saying, do you think I should put a video out discussing the Bruce Pearl contract situation today? And they said, you better hold off. I was like, I don't know, maybe I should still. Here I am, thinking I know better than the sources, and I don't. War Eagle Russell says, we're just about to get out of here, Russell. #1 Auburn homies for ETC. Thank you for that. Kyle has no age. He's seasoned like me. Somebody was asking earlier how old I am. I'm 34. You can tell by my shiny forehead that I'm probably look older than I actually am, but I'm not. I'm 34. It is, Francis. It is. The day they announced Bruce Pearl was our head coach was the best day for Auburn basketball life. And I've been a fan since Sonny Smith. Can we get a Nike contract next? Oh, man, that's a whole nother conversation. Personally, here's just me. I like this to keep Under Armour just because it's different and because we're sticking it to people like Tony Barbie, who says you can't win with Under Armour. I love that. I do love that. I'm only 9, Trucked says, but how did you react when Auburn got Bruce? It was more like the Bruce shirtless. I probably, actually, if you want me to be really honest, I ripped my shirt off in my kitchen downstairs and started screaming incessantly. No, I got really excited, and I asked the wife. We were actually in the middle of hanging out and about to play a board game together because we were having a chill Friday night. And I said, oh, sorry, got to go talk to the people. We got to talk about this news. And so that is why I'm here with you guys, because as I've told you before, we have our regularly scheduled live streams on Wednesday nights after the basketball games as of late. But when news happens, I'm here for you guys as long as I can be. So there you go. We're aging nicely. I appreciate that. I know you like Aeropostale as the next outfitter, but Nike helps get recruits. Kind of. Winning, having a great atmosphere, support pays more wonders than Nike. And I will take that to the bank. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here. No, it was an impromptu live stream. It was a great reaction stream as always. You guys are the best little family in the Auburn family. Check out some of those links in the description where you can help support our content, such as the Booster Club, as we talked about, or being a channel member here, both those starting at $1 a month. And make sure you smash that like button on the way out if you enjoyed this type of content. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this short amount of time. Until I talk to you all again, my little family within the Auburn family, War Eagle, we got it.